I'm done. I'm finished. Whew. Hell Week is officially over. Oh man. Oh man. So much to do on this free time I got on my hands here. I just don't know what to think of. Least I can do, I can just sit back, relax, and watch some good old Lisa Ann in a very hot and steamy. What? Huh? Looks like Anna Turnicle Lopez sent me a message. Guess I'll call her back then. Hey Anna, how's it going?
Bitch, where's the fucking Q&A video?
Okay.
I've been waiting 2 fucking weeks. Pinche cara de carvalho y sabes,
okay, just calm down.
¿Sabes qué? You can suck my culo, chica.
Alright, Jesus! Well, I totally forgot I had to do a Q&A video.
They all flow down here.
What is up, everybody? This is Atticus the Death Miller, and welcome to part 1 of the 2K subscriber special. Oh boy, it's been a long time coming now, has it? And if you're wondering why the hiatus on my channel, let me explain it before I get down to the questions at hand here. I've been gone for the past 2 weeks, and these past 2 weeks have been quite very busy. For starters, I took part in the World Arts Film Festival, in which I featured my short film, The Drummer, which I started a GoFundMe campaign a while back. And thank you all to those who donated to my GoFundMe campaign for this film. And I've done it without you guys. You made one of my dreams come absolutely true. And after that, I went down to Orlando to my older brother's new place for 2 occasions. I was there to celebrate Cinco de Mayo with his friends and my family members. And my older brother got his master's degree in health services. So as of right now, my older brother is up in Europe with my cousin Liam, and they're having a blast so far, and I wish I was with them. Last but not least, I did mention Hell Week at the intro of this video, and let me explain why. And I've mentioned this in an earlier video, but every May in my town of Ponte Vedra, there is like a golf tournament for the Players Championship, and a good chunk of the community in Ponte Vedra chips in to help out for this crazy occasion. So basically, I was there at the clubhouse doing a lot of work for them just to make extra money along with my other job that I did. And it was a long week, pretty busy. There were times where I felt like my hair was I was pulling off my hair, but I made it through, and above all, I'm pretty satisfied over that. But now that's out of the way, let's get down to the questions. Now, this is just, you know, I've always wanted to do a professional Q&A video for a while, and it's great to actually interact with my fans and my friends who ask these questions. And it just goes to show, you know, this shows some parts that you never seen over me, like, you know, just to talk and stuff. And it's good to interact with all my fans. So let's just have at it now, shall we? Let's begin the fucking questions. Felix Wolff asks, what is the worst death metal band of all time? That's actually a really interesting question, Felix, because, I mean, there's a lot of death metal bands that I have listened to throughout the years, and quite honestly, there was never really any shitty death metal bands. Well, many people would say 6 Feet Under because they really cannot stand Chris Barnes' vocals, but I'm one of the people that actually loves Chris Barnes' vocals on Cannibal Corpse and 6 Feet Under. What I will say is the worst death metal band of all time is this recent formed super group, or like a new band off of like members from Bolt Thrower, the band Memoriam. The musicianship is really good, but the vocalist for that band, not very keen over his vocals. Not really keen at all. I mean, many people would say the same with Bloodbath's Grand Morbid Funeral when they had Nick Holmes of Paradise Lost as their new vocalist, but I actually really liked Grand Morbid Funeral. But yes, I would say that the worst death metal band of all time would have to be Memoriam. I'm sorry to any Bolt Thrower fans watching this, but that's just my personal opinion on this question. But yeah, Memoriam, worst death metal band I've listened to so far. Applecore666 says, which European rock metal festival do you most wish you could go to? I've always wanted this question to come out over there, and to be honest, two metal fests in Europe I really would love to go to. Of course, it's gonna be this festival, the Wacken Festival, which is an absolute fucking must. I've talked to old school metalheads when I was at venues that went to Wacken Fest. They said it is the best fun you will ever have as a metalhead. It is a must go to. I would also say Summer Breeze, because I mean Summer Breeze is another great European metal fest, open air fest that I would absolutely kill to go to as well. I would also say Bloodstock and Download Fest. I mean, I'm pretty mixed on the Download Fest, but Download Fest from what I've heard is pretty fun, and also Bloodstock is really fun as well. But hopefully I would go down over to Europe and actually experience these festivals in the near future, because obviously, like, it is a must to go, especially to Wacken Fest. My buddy Ruse Poops from Deny Till Death says, "Grats, brother. What would be your perfect burger? Only the realest question from my dumbass. LOL." Well, Rue, as a lover of burgers myself, I mean, I've went to Black Sheep in Riverside, Jacksonville, 2 times, one for my graduation of college and for my mother and father's birthday, but I would say the best burgers would come from there. But in my opinion, the best burger would be like, I would say a Kobe or Wagyu beef burger, medium, seasoned with salt and pepper. I would also like to have pickled okra, fried egg, and caramelized onion, sauerkraut, Swiss cheese, and of course bacon strips onto the burger. And yeah, that's just my perfect burger right there. Cause with a fried egg on a burger, like, you cannot go fucking wrong with that, bro. You cannot go fucking wrong with that. My buddy Damien Skyfire says, "Congratulations, you sexy bastard. Who's your favorite New Zealand YouTuber, and why is it Damien Skyfire?" You had to ask that question, didn't you? Well, since you asked that question onto Dead Monkey of Mortified Productions 1K Q&A special, I would say what he said on the same question. That question answers itself, buddy. My Britbong buddy JH Independent asks, if you could swap your face with anyone you wanted, just like in the film Face Off, who would it be? Well, I mean, I do love my looks. I mean, I have good genes, but as of recent, a bunch of women said that I looked Nordic looking, which I'm not gonna lie, I was really flattered. I mean, I am of an Irish and a Polish background. I don't know where the fuck my dad is. He rarely even mentions it all, but hopefully I have some Viking in me, because I mean, like, the lady said I look Viking, so I'll take up on their offer. But if I could have any person's face, I would choose the very 3 people. I would love to have the faces of Kit Harington, Iwan Rheon, and Alexander Ludwig. I mean, but mostly Iwan Rheon, because he has that really charming look. Even though he was a sadistic bastard in Game of Thrones as Ramsay Bolton. I mean, come on, you gotta fucking love how Iwan Rheon portrayed Ramsay Bolton. Cause, like, goddamn, he was so awesome. But that's my opinion on if I could face swap anybody. But yeah, those 3 people, Alexander Ludwig, Kit Harington, and mostly Iwan Rheon. The Triumph Girl asks, congratulations Atticus on reaching 2K subscribers. Number 1, do you like the game Brutal Legend? Number 2, have you ever watched Supernatural, Doctor Who, and Sherlock, or one of them? Number 3, what kind of motorcycle would you ride? Alright, to answer your first question, I've never really played Brutal Legend. I know, shock factor, ain't it? But I don't know if I would be interested in trying it out. I mean, I've heard some people liked it, some people disliked it, but I mean, like, I have my Xbox One S over there, my 360, so hopefully if I have the chance to get Brutal Legend, I might play it later on in the future. And your second question you asked, I have never watched all 3 of those shows, and I cannot stand Whovians, but surprisingly, I was at a Supernatural convention at early of this year in January with my cousin and his family, and we actually got to meet Mark Pellegrino, who plays Lucifer in Supernatural. So it was a really fun experience that happens going on, and it was a good experience to hear from the people onto their experiences in the film industry as well. So it was a fun time for me and my cousin and his family. And with the motorcycle you would ride, I mean, I'm fine with my car as of right now. It just needs a bit of repairs. A rear view window needs to be repaired and stuff, but I've always wanted to have like a really badass Mad Max looking chopper just that I could ride on and just be like a badass motherfucker with some few bitches riding onto me. Kind of like how the heathen from Zimmer's whole from When You Shout the Devil But We're in League with Satan music video. That's what I want my hot rod to be like, is like that shit. Oh my god. Kentucky Dragon asks, congratulations dude, you deserve it. On with the question, what subject on the internet does annoy you the most? It's a really interesting and really good question you asked, Kentucky Dragon, because in my opinion, and I know that this is gonna be out there, but the one subject matter that annoys me on the internet, but mostly in YouTube in general, is the topic of Oni Theon. And I know I've made 2 videos on the subject, but the factor that people constantly keep talking about Oni Theon is what just fucking bugs me the most. It's like, we get it, he's a fucking scumbag piece of shit. Like, it's no stranger, but it's just like, he can never fucking die and stuff. And it's just like, you want to ignore him, but he keeps on doing more shit that's even more heinous. And it's just like, we brought out all this shit, and yet he's still on this fucking website and shit like that. And it's just like, everybody has butchered the fuck out of Oni Theon. It is a dead horse topic that will never fucking die. And I am afraid that it'll keep on fucking going on for the rest of this website's history and stuff. But yeah, that's just my opinion on your question there, Kentucky Dragon. Dakota Corduroy says, if you could be any type of mythical or folkloric being or creature, which one would you be and why? I've always been fascinated by the dwarves in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, but mostly into The Hobbit. Like, Gimli was one of my favorite characters into Lord of the Rings, but they never really brought out a lot of stuff on the Dwarven culture into that. But I'm so glad that when the 3 Hobbit films came out, I wanted to see more of the dwarf side, because they kept showing upon the men of Middle-earth and the elves of Middle-earth, but they never really touch up on the dwarves. And seeing the dwarves in all 3 Hobbit movies was so awesome. And mostly, especially in the Battle of the 5 Armies, when the dwarves went absolute badass against the orcs. That's kind of why I want to be a dwarf, because the dwarves are fucking tough in battle, and they just never fucking give up. They will fight to the fucking bitter end. But most of the time, I've always played as like a human in games like Dragon Age, mostly because I just like being a human. But yeah, like a human or like a barbarian Viking berserker in those types of realms. But if I chose to be like of any folkloric mythical being, I would choose a dwarf, because dwarves are badass. Light Within the Shadow asks, congrats dude, allow me to bring in my own questions. Number 1, do you watch anime? If so, what did you grow up with and still watch today? Number 2, what sort of video games do you play? Number 3, favorite death metal band of all time? You are the death metaler after all. Number 4, got any plans to celebrate this occasion personally, going to a concert or whatnot? Well, to ask the first question, Light Within Shadow, I do watch anime time and time again, but the two animes that I grew up as a kid, of course, is Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z. Like, I still watch Dragon Ball Z episodes time and time just to get that whole nostalgia thing, but Pokemon was a big influence into my early childhood growing up, and like me and my brother, we used to collect Pokemon cards so much during that time, which was, I mean, I have a Pokemon blanket somewhere, but I'm too lazy to get it right now. Some of the other animes that I've watched, I remember watching Rurouni Kenshin, and I think there was this one anime called Ronin Warriors that was on Toonami at that time. I did watch a bit of Avatar. I know that doesn't count as anime. I did watch Naruto a brief time, and a little bit of fucking Full Metal Alchemist as well. And as of right now, Attack on Titan is an anime that is pretty cool. I would say Attack on Titan has a really good story and shit like that, but it's a really enjoyable anime. But I would say of all the animes that I have watched, Dragon Ball Z is top-notch fucking badass. Oh, and I also forgot about High School the Dead. High School the Dead, fucking hot-ass babes, zombies, and guns. But it's just High School the Dead. Oh, that is an awesome anime. What sort of video games do I play? Well, since I have my Xbox One S, I am a huge Gears of War junkie. I have Gears of War 4, but it came up with the package that I got with my Xbox One. I also have Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Black Ops 3, which I know, all you people saying, Battlefield 1 and Black Ops don't really match up that much. But, I mean, I'm favoring Battlefield more than Call of Duty as of right now. And, The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt is another great video game. I'm taking a break from it right now because, fucking drowners are fucking horrible. And, I've been playing this game a whole lot, Titanfall 2. The multiplayer, especially attrition on multiplayer, oh boy, it's so fucking awesome. And I love playing the Ion Titan class with the Red Baron paint on it. I call my Titan Big Baron just because of that shit. But yeah, it is such a fun game. And favorite death metal band of all time, bro, if you knew me throughout this entire YouTube channel of mine, but you know what, I'm just gonna say this right now, Cannibal Corpse is without a doubt my favorite death metal band, hands fucking down. And number 4, I've actually really done that, Light Within Shadow. I've already celebrated. I celebrated Cinco de Mayo down in Orlando, and then after my brother's graduation, getting his master's degree, me, my brother, and his girlfriend went downtown and just got super shit-faced. But yep, that's what went down. But yep, that's all went down. And this is gonna be a doozy, split it into 2 parts, so you're gonna have to fucking bear with me. Nomadic Chaos says, hooray for Atticus reaching the milestone of 2K. As for my questions, here are some of my questions. Number 1, if you have the opportunity for a revenge collab for that foot fetish collab Gatka had you do, why not have him watch all the Bible Black series? Number 2, are you a fan of Dungeons and Dragons? Because I see you being the barbarian out of everyone. If you, Gatka, Some Guy 827, Thrash Metal Guru did a group together. Number 3, since you're still doing the death metal reviews, are there any albums you look forward to reviewing? Number 4, if you have to choose a house to belong to in Game of Thrones, which is it and why? Number 5, if you had to make your dream supergroup from any musicians, who would they be and what would they play? Number 6, who are your top 10 porn stars? You had to fucking go there. Also, number 7, remember when you did the live stream with Some Guy 827? Well, you did mention that Megadeth could pull off being a prog metal band, but do you think they could take it to a step further and pull off being gent? Number 8. Who do you choose for Metal Bay? Angela Gassa or Lita Ford? And number 9, if you had the chance to make your own superhero or supervillain film with any DC or Marvel character, who would it be and why? Also, what songs would you choose for the soundtrack of said movie? Okay, let's get down. Okay, so number 1, I don't have anything in particular, but I think I got something in store for Stoutmeister, for him making me watch Foot Fetish, do 2 Godfuckers, and not to mention that fucking milk enema video, which was fucking goddamn atrocious. Seriously, Stout, fuck you, man. I'm gonna get back at you, and oh my god, you are gonna feel the burn. And number 2, it's kind of a little bit of embarrassing that you asked this question because I always liked collecting all the Dungeons and Dragons monster manual books, but I didn't really play Dungeons and Dragons. I just liked looking at all the monsters, and I had like a really vivid imagination. And I tried to make my own Lord of the Rings-esque like World of Warcraft type of realm. Trying to make like in a trilogy in a sense when I was like in middle school, but it never really fucking happened. But I mean, if there was like a fantasy realm that was gonna go on, yes, of course, I would be the fucking barbarian Viking berserker if me, some guy, thrash metal guru, and Stoutmeister were like doing our own fucking quest of sorts, which that would be pretty goddamn awesome. Since I'm still doing the death metal reviews, it's really good that you asked that question because I am in the process of doing 3 upcoming album reviews. I'm going to be doing Epica's The Holographic Principle. I've also picked up Nurgle from Behemoth's blues country project, Me and That Man, Songs of Love and Death. And it's a really good album that I've picked up, and it's a very unique album, and I was pretty you know, amazed that Nurgle took this route in that direction because he's known for his black and death metal and stuff like that. And the final album that I'm going to be reviewing is Motionless in White's Graveyard Shift. It's a pretty awesome album. I've listened to all the songs, but I'm going to be reviewing it sometime later in the future. And if you had to choose a house to belong in Game of Thrones, I do have my House Stark ring, but unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go with House Bolton. I know, House Bolton, because like, god damn it, House Bolton's history is written in blood and badassery. Like, one of the Boltons was known as like the Red Arm Royce Bolton IV, I believe. Like, he was known to rip the entrails off of his enemies while they were still alive. And there's just so many like badass bloodthirsty Boltons that came out of the House Bolton lineage, and that's why like they're pretty much like the equivalent of Vlad Tepes's family during the times in Romania. That's how I view the Boltons. And if I had to make my own supergroup, that's a really awesome question because I would love for the vocalist, I like to have like 2 vocalists in the band. I would choose Des Fafara of Cold Chamber and Devil Driver, and Maurizio Iacono of Cataclysm and Ex Dio. And for guitarists, I would choose Scar Symmetry's Per Nilsson and Rusty fucking Cooley to be my guitarists. And the bassist, Alex Webster without a doubt. And of course, George Colius, the drummer for drums. And special guests, a little added bonus for special guests, I would love to have special vocalists be Alex Terrible of Slaughter to Prevail and Nurgle Behemoth, and guitarists would be Jeff Loomis and Carl Sanders. Like, I would pay top notch if they actually made a super group like that. And and my top 10 favorite porn stars. Well, I comprise the lists, and I'm going to narrow it down to all of my favorite porn stars. So, let's get down now, shall we? Aline, Angel Summers, A.V. Scott, Isabella Clarke, Kiara Mia, Angela White, Lisa Ann, Allura Jensen, Sarah J, and last but not least, Phoenix Marie. And those are my top 10 favorite porn stars, pretty much. And the thing on the question of Megadeth being a prog metal band and going straight forward to gents, I don't really remember me saying that Megadeth is full prog, but yeah, they're up in that direction of sorts. They sound more progressive than they do thrash metal, but I would never see them go that genty. They're a bit on the thrashy side than being genty. That's all I gotta say for that. And for the other question, definitely Angela Gasso. Definitely fucking Angela Gasso. And for the superhero flick, it's pretty amazing. Actually, that's really interesting you brought that up, because me and the Frost Reviews, we are actually working on a series on Ghost Rider, and I'm actually proofreading all the scripts for him and his series that's going down right now. So it's an awesome opportunity that I am taking up on this offer for the Frost Review, and just helping him out, and putting my degree into some good uses. So hopefully that will come down. Hopefully that will come down to fruition. And I really like reading these scripts right now. They're really awesome, dude. So yeah, thank you for all the questions, Nomadic Chaos. Brendan Clement asks, do you listen to Epica? Does this answer your fucking question? Because I definitely listen to Epica. I need a subby, buddy! The next question is going to be quite the very interesting question that Silent Wolf X84 has given to me, and where he states, is there anything about Trump's presidency that either disturbs or bothers you? I.e. ICE police breaking up families, Betsy DeVos being in charge of education, the support for the Dakota Access Pipeline, GOP's new health plan that would ditch pre-existing conditions including dealing with sexual assault victims, etc. Well, it's a good question that you brought up, Silent Wolf, since you supposedly were, since you were a subscriber of mine back in the day, but then with my recent political changes, you did not like the direction I went through. But with you having a reasonable discussion with me, I will do what I can on what you have brought up. So the first thing being, ICE breaking up families. Well, let me just say this. With the whole thing that ICE raids have gone on, there has been some of the stuff that I agree with on ICE and the current stuff that Trump has done. Like, for instance, there were 1,378 suspected gang members in the largest sweep to date. A good chunk of those gang members were from Mordes Salvatruches, MS-13, which is one of the most fucking brutal Hispanic gangs in history. So that's a little bit of progress cleaning up America's streets from gang activity. But I could understand the whole virtue signaling notion of just Hispanic families, mostly Mexican families, that are being deported, having family members being deported because they're illegal. Well, let me just say this, I'm not that type of guy that says, oh, let's just deport every fucking Mexican or Hispanic out there. I'm all in favor with immigrants coming into this country, but they have to be legal, because there are lots of Hispanic Trump supporters that work their asses off to get those green cards and to come into this country legally. Meanwhile, you have all these illegal immigrants come in, which fucks them over in the long run. So it's like, you've worked your ass off onto doing this test you've prepped up for, and yet someone is fucking cheating over it. That's just how I view onto the whole thing over there. And with your next question about Betsy DeVos, now the whole topic of Betsy DeVos, it's a pretty controversial thing. I'm not going to deny that. I've heard a lot of bad things about Betsy DeVos, but from what one of my co-workers told me about Betsy DeVos, she spoke about saying that, she wants to bring out a program where there is an opportunity of choice into the child's decisions into choosing which school it wants to go to. Like, for instance, like, would you want to have a black child to be in a, like, hoodlum-ridden, ghetto-ass school where it is an environment that is not, it's like learning is absolutely impossible. Would you rather have that child to be sent to like a school where it's safe for that child to learn and stuff? Because, I mean, yeah, like, I understand that the education system in America is broken as it is, but with this decision into like equal opportunity in choice of which school you want to go to, that sounds a bit of progress to me, because like, how the fuck are we gonna solve this? Like, instead of just pumping out fucking money to the school education system, which I could see a little bit of progress on that, but mostly some dumb American and Naked Ape explain it very more perfectly than I do. As for the Dakota Access Pipeline, I'm pretty mixed onto that. Of course, like, how they're saying that it's being crossed over on like a Native American grounds, but from what I have heard otherwise is that it's far away from the water system that they're protecting and stuff. But then again, like, why are we cutting off that when we spend most of our fucking time like doing these fucking pointless wars in the Middle East, destabilizing these countries all for oil? I would rather do that kind of stuff than go over to the fucking Middle East for oil. But that's just me and all that stuff. I understand there's gonna be people disagreeing with me and stuff like that, but you know, that's just my viewpoints onto that. And with like the GOP's healthcare plan, I mean, if you're talking about like the Johnson Act where these hospitals are denying service because of their religious backgrounds, let me just say this: these are private hospitals or companies that are doing this type of stuff. But then again, I hear about all these pre-existing conditions of sexual assault. I will have to agree with you that that's pretty fucking retarded in a sense, and the GOP is pretty mixed up onto that. So I'm gonna have to agree with you there. The only thing I will say this to, but it's not a question that you've answered me, Silent Wolf. The one thing that really did fucking bother me about Trump's presidency is that when he launched over 50-something Tomahawk missiles over to Syria, because that is the very thing that I voted fucking against. But we gotta see what other stuff is in hold and stuff like that. Obviously, I will say it's the neocons and the deep state completely fucking up the presidency, but you might think otherwise. But other than that, like, agree to disagree, respectively, all that stuff. But I hope I've answered all of your questions that you needed, Silent Wolf. Jinora Brown asks, just checked and it's 2001 subs again now, boyo. Either way, congratulations. Number 1, do you like coffee? And if so, what is your favorite blend? Number 2, do you still love death and do you listen to Gorillaz? Number 3, what are your thoughts on transgender people? And number 4, do you like pancakes? I'm just curious. Well, the first question, I'm not that big of a coffee drinker myself. I do drink coffee once in a while, but when it comes to coffee, I like mine with some cream. But I mean, I'm not one of the biggest smarty pants dewy doers on to coffee. And for the second question, do I still love death? I have all the fucking releases off of death. Let's see, I got Scream Bloody Gore, Leprosy, Spiritual Healing, Human, and Individual Thought Patterns, Symbolic, and last but not least, The Sounds of Perseverance. So of course I still fucking listen to death. And for Gorillaz, I obviously do have their Demon Days album somewhere. I kind of lost it, but I loved their album Demon Days. It was one of the only album from Gorillaz that I absolutely loved, just jamming out to back when I was in middle school. But I mean, I'm not really one of the biggest Gorillaz fans, but my friend Dead Monkey of Mortify Productions is one of the biggest Gorillaz fans I have known. But yeah, hope that answers your questions about Gorillaz. And my thoughts on transgender people, like honestly, I still find the whole transgender thing a little bit weird, but like when I found out about transgenderism when I was in college, I was a bit really confused, and I realized, you know, if they want to be this or that, you know, accept them who they are. But as of right now, the whole like LGBT community is completely fucking stupid and stuff like that. But with my experience in transgender people, a former very close friend of mine came out as transgender, and I had to go through helping out with her, all this stuff, and then she went full-blown SJW on me, and I had to cut that off. I really had to fucking cut that off. But how do I feel about transgender people in general? Like, I don't really fucking hate transgender people. Yeah, I might be a little bit weirded out, but that's just, they're just trying to be who they are. And obviously I have no fucking problem with Blair White or Theron Meyer and a few other transgender friends that I know. But mostly I have no problem like pissing alongside Blair White in the fucking bathroom. Cause, you know, I mean, it's a little bit confusing, but you know, I am gonna be talking about Blair White later on to this Q&A video, but like, yeah, I have nothing against transgender people. I would obviously get along with Blair White. She's a very lovely tranny and all that shit, but that's just my thing on to transgender people. And the last question, do I like pancakes? I obviously like the Bisquick kind of pancakes. I mean, I'm not one of the biggest fans of pancake, but I love eating like plain Bisquick pancake batter or something like that. I don't know, I'm weird like that. But I hope that answers all of your questions, Jinora Brown. Maximus asks, what do you like more? Alabama Hot Pocket or San Diego Thank You? I'm afraid to look up on what those are. Maximus. I would have to say Alabama Hot Pocket. Oh, fuck me, I'm going to regret it. Layla's Locker asks, my question, ass or boobs? Your favorite old god from any pantheon, explain why. For the first question, Layla, I would obviously have to say ass, because I love the booty. I fucking love the booty. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a nice rack once in a while, like either they're perky or absolutely busty, but obviously I do appreciate a woman that has a fine booty. Not like the plastic surgery ass like Nicki Minaj, Iggy Azalea has, because that's just dishonest. That's fucking dishonest. Like, but when a woman puts a lot of work and effort into her booty, just so many squats, that is dedication. That is fucking passion right there. The perfect booty right there. I'm so sorry. I just love the booty. I love the booty. I came looking for booty. And your other question, obviously, I would pick Thor, because he is one of the most badass gods of Norse mythology. But then again, like, Greek mythology has a rich mythology and stuff like that. There's a lot of heroes and gods from Greek mythology, but I would obviously pick Thor, just because he's a fucking badass like that. Not Marvel's Thor, though I do love the Marvel Thor, but I love the Norse god Thor a hell of a lot more. Just because he summons thunder, battles the shit out of giants, and of course the Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent that he battles 24/7. Just, you know, Thor's a really badass god. That's all I gotta say. My good buddy Ranter in Shades asks, who are your favorite instrumental band's solo musicians? Chris Ray Gun or some black guy? Now, of course, Shades, one of my favorite instrumental bands, obviously, is fucking Animals as leaders. They put on a hell of a show when I was with Stoutmeister at Freebird, when it was still fucking open, when they were touring with the Contortionist and Between the Bird and Me. It was my first time seeing Animals as leader. They put on a hell of a kick-ass show, and of course, Tosin Obasi, really great guitarist. I would also say one of Alex Webster's like solo project, like instrumental project bands like Blotted Science. They're a really kick-ass death metal instrumental band. And you know, if you really want to check it out, Shades, I would recommend checking out Blotted Science's old stuff. I don't know if they're still around, but when I listened to Blotted Science back then, oh man, some really good music. And for solo musicians, obviously fucking Jeff Loomis's first 2 solo albums, they were so awesome. And of course, and I've mentioned this on Top 30 Albums of 2015, my number 1 album of 2015, George Coleus's solo album Invictus. And of course, I've mentioned this onto like my top 30, though it wasn't that really good. It wasn't really that planned well with Infidel Amsterdam, but like just the fact that George Coleus did the guitars, bass, he did the vocals and the drums, not to mention he had 2 of his bandmates. Unfortunately, Dallas Tullerwade's not with Nile anymore. He had Rusty Cooley and a bunch of other great musicians that were special guests in Invictus. One of the best solo albums I have ever checked out. And if you have the time, Shades, I would highly recommend you check out George Coleus's Invictus. You will not be disappointed. And the decision of Chris Ray Gun or some black guy. I do love both YouTubers, but I would prefer some black guy more, just because that he loves the same music that I listen to. He's more of like a central liberal, and I do agree with a good chunk of some black guy. He's a reasonable person. He's against SJWism and PC culture. At least he interviewed Nathan D'Amigo, the white nationalist that punched Moldy Locks in the face. Had a reasonable discussion with Nathan D'Amigo, how he said that, you know, Nathan D'Amigo wants an ethno-state. Meanwhile, black supremacists like Tariq Nasheed say, oh, you's a coon. Oh, you's a house nigga. You just sucking the white man's dick. Because they owe you reparations. Gotta love that nigga fam. Because, like black supremacists, like, they're fucking ridiculous. At least white supremacists actually want what they fucking want and stuff like that. But, you know, it's all that stuff. But some black guy, I love his new stuff. I love the content that he's bringing out, and I just love how far he's gone with his content. And you know, he's bringing his roommates into helping out with his content. Some black guy really is one of my favorite YouTubers, just because, you know, he's a metalhead like me, and I agree with most of the stuff that he listens to, and he's just a really entertaining person and all that stuff, and I really love how much he's grown and stuff like that. So, yep, some black guy all the way. Mr. Batista asks, number 1, worst person you ranted on. Number 2, biggest regret on YouTube. Those are actually really good questions, Mr. Batista. Obviously, I've made videos against Freely the Banana Girl, Joshua Fierstein, Vegan Gains, Oni Theon, and a bunch of other just pathetic people that were worth just calling out. But as of recently, and of course I'm gonna bring this channel up, Daddy05. Oh my god, when I, just talking about Daddy05 and just like all the stuff that went down there, holy fucking shit. I can't believe on how much rage and just how much shit that channel got from all this content that it brought up. And it was a good thing that the entire YouTube community actually just called the fuck out on Daddy05 on the shit that it has done. And just so you know, a lot of people that have been saying this, and I know a lot of people have been saying this to me, hoping they would get a video off of me saying this, but I'm just gonna say this right now. Well, something good came out of this whole thing, and Cody and Emma are back with their biological mother. And upon hearing about this news and seeing this picture right here of Cody and Emma, especially Cody with that $1 million smile, that made my fucking year. That really made my year. That smile right there is a smile knowing that, hey, everybody gives a fuck about me. Everybody cares about me. And just, you know, Cody, I hope you... Oh, get a bit more emotional over here. Just bear with me. But Cody, if you're watching this, I'm glad that you're safe now. I'm glad that you and Emma are safe. And hopefully you have a normal childhood. And to answer your last question, Mr. Batista, I will say my biggest regret was making my video on the cantankerous case of Tommy Lahren. I mean, obviously I stuttered a hell of a lot, and I got a lot of hate from that, but I'm not gonna take it down. I'm gonna keep that video as a learning experience, but I still stand on what I have said into my video, that conservatives are for the diversity of thought and opinion. If you are for the diversity of thoughts and opinion, why the fuck aren't you sharing on the thoughts about abortion and shit like that? Obviously, abortion is a very controversial topic, but who the fuck do I know? I'm just a fucking moron, as what these people have been saying to me as of right now. My lovely little Mexican lady, Anna the Turduckle Lopez, asks, top 10 bays. Honorable mentions can be added too. And, and how much ass do you eat a day? You had to fucking ask that question, Anna. You had to fucking ask it. Well, to entertain your thoughts on my top 10 favorite bays, I will ask you right away. I will say number one is, of course, my favorite right-wing journalist, Lauren Southern. Obviously, she is extremely smart and very, very informative, and she brings out a lot of great roasts, and just, she is not afraid to like go up and personal with her journalism, especially what happened with the Battle of Berkeley and stuff. And as of right now, I heard that she's like being detained in Italy for preventing migrants coming into Europe. I just gotta say, I really do admire Lauren Southern on what she does, and she's just fucking awesome. That's just all I gotta say. Number two is, of course, my friend Rage After Storm. She's a brand new YouTuber. She's another right-wing YouTuber that is from Switzerland. And I've mentioned her before and, you know, just gave her a shout out. And, you know, like, she grew so fast onto her, you know, channel. And, you know, I've talked to her a couple times. She's a really nice, really sweet individual. And just like with Lauren Southern, she can bring out some goddamn, like, crazy ass roasts and stuff. But, you know, I do really admire Rage After Storm. And yeah, I will admit, I kind of do have a little bit of a crush on Rage. Yeah, I'm bringing it out there. I'm bringing it out there, Rage. I'm not afraid to admit it. Number three is, of course, my concert buddy, Sarah Verdanine. Obviously, I gave her a shout out on one of my early videos. She is obviously an absolutely lovely individual, inside and out. Very beautiful, and just, when I'm at the shows down in Orlando, she headbangs very passionately. And yes, she has said this. She actually does look a bit like Simone Simmons from Epica. And Nate Talks to You actually, you know, said she looks a bit like Sophie Turner, which, you know, she actually was very flattered over. The next individual, the next bae I would like to mention is The White Rose. I remembered her video on racism due to the whole Black Lives Matter kidnapping video. She commented on my video as well, but when I watched her video and, you know, all the stuff that she brought up, I was like, whoa, lad! Did my heart just skip a beat or something? But yeah, very informative, very lovely individual, but yes, she's another woman that I do admire, and I do have a crush on her as well. She's a great woman, great and lovely individual, pretty informative content, and just just an outright just beautiful and very smart woman. The other individual, of course, is Blair White. Blair White, without a doubt. Funny story, because I first discovered Blair White through a video that Naked Ape brought out, and I thought, wow, she's actually really hot. And I checked her out, looked up on her Instagram, and I'm like, wait a minute. Well, okay then. But I obviously do admire Blair White and how, you know, beautiful she is. She's a very smart individual, and of course she's savage as fuck as well. But of course, a lot of my friends would say otherwise, that I'm bi because I find Blair White attractive and stuff, but that's not the case. But, you know, in many ways, you know, think what you must, but of course Blair White is a very beautiful individual. You know, is the one transgender woman that I do actually, you know, think is very beautiful and stuff. But who knows? It's very awkward of me talking about Blair White and how I feel about her.
I'm gay.
The next bae I want to bring up is my good friend Creepy Kels. I, of course, discovered her through Stoutmeister. I brought her up in one of my collab reactions, but I will say that she's a really sweet individual, and I just really would like to talk to her more. But, I mean, Kels, if you're watching this, I do admire you very much. You're a very lovely individual, and I'm glad that I consider you a good friend of mine, and we do talk about stuff when we get the chance. So, love you, Kels. I also want to bring up, without a doubt, one of my favorite YouTubers, of course, the YouTuber Mahofson. I befriended Mahofson in late 2011, and I had a major crush onto Mahofson. I do admire Mahofson, and we're still good friends to this very day, and she is a very treasured friend of mine, and I do love her company, and I do love her content that he brings out. She is an absolutely lovely individual, and if you please subscribe to her channel. The other individual I like to bring up is Roaming Millennial. Of course, I've got into her content due to the whole Lacey Green controversy, and yes, I would prefer Roaming Millennial more than Lacey Green, and she's completely non-biased as well. She is willing to actually interview alt-writers like Richard Spencer, whether you agree or disagree with Richard Spencer. I think Richard Spencer's a pansy-ass motherfucker when it comes to right-wing politics, because he's obviously saying, oh, I'm so important because I got socked in the face by an Antifa twat stain that does scat porn for a living, and the last two, it's together. And of course, I'm going to say this, Anna. It's you and Jose. Because, you two are so hot together. And your next question on how much ass do you eat a day? A gentleman does not kiss and tell. Oh, bye! My good friend Joshua Powell asks, what would you say has most inspired you to make videos all these years? Well, I guess I would have to say that one of my first inspirations into wanting to start a YouTube channel would be that of the YouTuber by the name of Make Me Bad 35. I absolutely loved his really random, edgy humor that was just so off the charts, just out of the ordinary, very vulgar, and that's what I absolutely loved about Make Me Bad 35's content. Unfortunately, I don't watch him as I used to anymore, but occasionally I go with a little bit of nostalgia and watch the old content that I watched back then again. I mean, it's always a fucking riot, and the fact that he was a part of Filthy Frank's Human Cake was really good. And another inspiration, of course, Filthy Frank, without a doubt, was one of my without a doubt, one of my all-time favorite YouTubers. He took like what Make Me Bad 35 started, and it made it even much more edgy and shit. But I would say those two wanted me to like start up YouTube as well. But the YouTubers, The Amazing Atheist, Mr. Repsion, really wanted me to go out with my political and social issues back in the times when I was like a edgy anarchist back in the day, and then I stumbled across Ranter and Shades official GATG, not knowing the fact that I would become really good friends with these two. And you know, once they got a hold on my content, my really early content back then, the rest was history. So as of right now, like, I would say that one of the most earliest inspirations into wanting me to do YouTube was that of Make Me Bad 35. So thanks a lot, Damien, for inspiring me to become a YouTuber like you, man. And last but not least, we are down to the final question, which is none other than my twin brother official GATG. He asks, number 1, how did you get your start on your journey to death metal land? What genres did you listen to beforehand? Number 2, who's the better whipping boy between you and Dead Monkey? Number 3, how many times a day do you bow down to the photo of me and Muggy that's stashed in your wardrobe? Number 4, is there such a thing as too much masturbation? And number 5, what instrument do you want to learn to play the most? Stout. It's a never dull moment. Okay, so the first question I must ask, how I got started into my journey into death metal land and what genres did I listen to beforehand. I listened, this is very embarrassing, but I listened to a lot of pop music back then, like a lot of Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears and NSYNC. That was the only commodity that was there. I did listen to some Frank Sinatra and stuff, but then like I listened to Drowning Pool's generic song Bodies, and I was automatically hooked on hard rock, and I listened to bands like Disturbed, Tool, Korn, a little bit of Rage Against the Machine, a bunch of other, and also Slipknot. Slipknot was like, in my mind during the time, was like the most heaviest band I have ever come across. And then I came across Dimmu Borgir, and this is like what I like to call the golden age. In 2007, during the MySpace days, I discovered Nuclear Blast Records MySpace page, and I was blessed by checking out all the metal bands across the world. And I guess that's how, I believe around 2009 was when I started to begin my absolute love of death metal, but I think it was 2008 when I started listening to Cannibal Corpse a lot, the album Kill, and that's what got me fucking hooked on Cannibal Corpse. And then in 2009, I began to explore more into Cannibal Corpse's discography, and it led to other great death metal bands, and it was just like, oh my god, I was overwhelmed with the death metal goodiness. And number 2, I would have to say Dead Monkey is the better whipping boy, because not only is he a really hilarious ass motherfucker, he puts 110% onto his content, and he's like one of the best content creators I have ever had the utmost privilege into actually becoming a friend. It's like, he needs to get more subscribers out there. He puts so much goddamn work into his content and stuff. I mean, I make the best content I can, but I would say that Dead Monkey of Morning Party Productions and Ranter and Shades and you, of course, you make some quality good content. This is not me just, this is me being genuine. Number 3. I'm just gonna play this right now. 俺はおちんちんが大好きなんだよ。俺はおちんちんが大好きなんだよ。俺はおちんちんが大好きなんだよ。But in all seriousness, I bow down 3 times a day. And number 4, is there such a thing as too much masturbation? Like too much masturbation, I would say there's like, you can just jerk off all the fuck you want. I mean, we all jerk off once in a while, but to us guys, when you jack off way too much, that's gonna cause some prostate cancer, bro. That's gonna cause you a serious risk of prostate cancer. That's all I gotta say. And number 5, I've never really was interested in playing any instruments. My older brother had a drum kit a long time ago during that time, and you know, I really wanted to play it, but I just never found really interest in it. But I've really been more interested in doing vocals and singing and stuff. I've done a bit of vocals from Miracle of Sound. I really want to do better on my death metal growls and screams, but I just really need to find the better formula instead of just like breaking my vocal cords and stuff, along with, you know, just other shit in general. But you get the gist of what I have to say. But yeah, that's all I have to offer for my twin brother official Gatka's questions. Before I end this video, I just want to say thank you all so much for making me reach 2K subscribers. I couldn't have done it without all of you guys. You guys have been a great help for me after all these years, and I couldn't have been more blessed than ever to have such fans like you guys and all that stuff. And I hope to grow more onto my content, so stay tuned for parts 2 of my 2K sub special, and we'll see what goes down as well. So I'm glad you liked this Q&A, and I hope you enjoyed, you know, learning a bit about me, and yeah, hope you loved it. Without further ado, ladies and gents, I am Atticus the Death Metaler. Hope you liked this video. Subscribe to my channel. Links are in the description below. Keep it metal. Have a wonderful day. And cheers, motherfuckers.